Are you ready for this?
So I've got this new Schuberth E2 Adventure Helmet.
I'm very excited about the memory feature, you can tell, right? I'm Allan Karl, WorldRider, and welcome to my YouTube channel, WorldRider TV. Hey, I know a lot of you out there watch this because you are motorcyclists, you're travelers, and you're adventurers. Well, you're not going to believe what I just got dropped in today, and I'm very excited about it. Are you ready for this? That's right, I've got my new Schuberth E2 Adventure Helmet. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about my experience with motorcycle helmets. And then let's get that box open and let me tell you a lot of cool things about this new E2 Adventure Helmet from Schuberth, made in Germany. Well, I've been riding motorcycles for years, of course, and I've been wearing Schuberth helmets for almost 10 years. One of my very first helmets was, of course, the iconic, the legendary Schuberth C3 Pro. If you've seen any of my videos from China or in Eastern Europe, this is the helmet that I wore up until about 4 years ago. It's the C3 Pro, and it's still good. This is my backup helmet. This is my passenger helmet, my pillion helmet. It's fitted with the Sena comm system, and it's got speakers and a microphone inside there. It's fantastic. Then, back in about 2019, I upgraded, and I got myself their first adventure helmet called the E1. And this E1 helmet, you can see, has that peak, that little visor that a lot of the fixed, the non-modular helmets use to keep the sun out of your face. And that was such an important feature for me. This was the first edition of the Schuberth E Adventure Series helmets, but they are now up to E2. It's gone through some incredibly good changes. These guys have put a lot of thinking into this new helmet. So let's get right into it. The Schuberth E2 Adventure Helmet. Now, we're going to get into it, but I also have another box that we're going to open up and another Schuberth innovation. This is the SC2 comm system or communication system, and I'm going to show you exactly how that works here with the E2 Adventure Helmet. But first, let's get into the helmet and talk about the features and what makes this so much better than the E1, and frankly, takes what the C3 Pro was up even on a notch, at least for us adventure riders. Okay? As we open up the box, the first thing you're going to look at when you open up your E2 Adventure Helmet from Schuberth is this very simple and pretty cool. Not that anybody really needs any instructions on how to use a helmet, but the Schuberth, as you soon see, has some advanced features, not only on the communication system side, but just with the removable peak, the removable cheek pads, the way that the comm system does work and install, the sun visor. As you can see, it's just real simple pictures. There's a QR code on the back so you can get some more information. Really nice, put together, well thought out design of this E2 Adventure Helmet. So let's get into it. Wait till you see it down deeper. The packaging is wonderful. It's not about the packaging, it's about the helmet. I'll tell you about these things in a second. This is an adventure helmet packed with features for safety, comfort, for ease of use, and communication. This thing comes in several sizes, obviously a lot of different colors. I chose this orange color because, well, WorldRider brand is a bit on it is orange. It's close to that orange too. And of course it is the Schuberth color. For those of you into those Austrian bikes, I don't ride one. Maybe you're a KTM fan. That's a perfect color for you too. But look at the graphics. I think this is cool. Before we get into the features, you ever buy a pair of jeans that already got holes in them and they're already stringy and they're just look like they're falling apart, or other kinds of apparel that you might have because it has that worn out kind of look? Well, look, this helmet looks like, it's been dragged across the dirt, but that's the way it comes out of the box. So you know what? If I do ever drop it, if I ever do get a scratch on it, I don't care, because this is kind of the look. So it shows it's pretty cool. I love that. Okay. Few things about the helmet that we should talk about first is just the construction of this. Okay. This is, so officially, it's the Schuberth E2 Adventure Helmet. Now, the outer shell is made of this pressed glass fiber, which they call direct fiber processing. And what that is, it's reinforced with carbon fiber. So it's really strong but also lightweight. Now, it has this peak. Now, this is fully adjustable and removable. And we'll get into that a little bit later. And it's got this kind of cool design, and it's got 3 or 4 adjustments here. So it truly minimizes buffering. But what's really unique about the new Schuberth helmets, and I'm sure they're going to apply this to the others, but because this features not only a peak that is adjustable, it also has, of course, the shield visor. And what this has is Schuberth has done this patented technology that will keep the position of both the peak and the visor where you have it set. So if you happen to have this up and this in a particular position, and then you stop to maybe talk to someone or to take a drink, and you lift up the visor, you can see even as I do that, the visor moves, the peak moves. But when you come back, it's got a memory function. How cool is that? The other thing about the helmet, which we're going to come back to, and we're going to talk about the SC2, the comm system. What makes this so cool is this helmet is communication ready. It's already got built-in HD speakers. It has 3 antennas. It's got a mesh antenna. So it works if you're using the comm system to communicate with your buddies on a ride. That mesh system allows for greater distances than Bluetooth or FM, but it also does have an FM antenna in here and has a Bluetooth antenna here. And it's already pre-set up. We're going to do this in a minute to attach the comm system. The battery goes here, the control system goes here, and inside here is where the microphone goes. So what else can I tell you about this helmet? Okay, one of the most important things when riding, of course, is not only beyond the safety, but is ventilation, especially in these crazy hot temperatures we've been having this summer. So in here, you can see, let's lock this back into place. There is a dual channel chin vent. And there's a filter in here that's also removable, exchangeable. Then you have this, hard to see with the peak on here, you have this adjustable top vent. You know, it's got 1, 2, 3 positions. So you can close it in those cold days and open it. So you've got that nice top vent, and it's big, it's large. And wow, I mean, look at this. It's like an airfoil in the back. Look at that for air extraction. Look how wide that is. So you're really going to get maximum flow going in the helmet and then out of the helmet thanks to that wide rear air extraction spoiler. It's like a rear spoiler on a car, except it has a function here. It really is going to let more air out and get it much more cooler on those hot days. But not only that, the inside construction, the inner shell, I'm not going to pull these pads out. So the inner shell, if I move the pads out, you could see it. But what it is it's this EPS foam, and it's this high density foam, but it's very light. But within that EPS foam inner shell, there are vent channels that Schuberth has designed into this. So not only do we have the ability to bring air in through the chin vents, the top vent, but you've also got vents that are going to help push that air out that rear spoiler, so you get really incredible cooling. Now, one of the other things that Schuberth has done with this helmet compared to the E1, the head shape of the E1 was, it was a little constricting for some people. It was more made for round heads than maybe more like oval heads like I had. Now, you could adjust it through a system on the E1, but it wasn't very easy. So first of all, they've redesigned that shell with that EPS foam to give it more of a oval shape for your head, and it makes it fit really good, depending on the size of the shell you choose. I've got a medium shell here. But what's really cool, and I think shows the innovative thinking behind the engineers in Schuberth, USA, and in Germany, is this comfort fit design, I think is what they're calling this. Okay. Now you can look inside. There are a number of pads in here. There's the headband pad. There's the cheek pads. This complete comfort fit system is removable. It's also antibacterial, anti-allergenic, and you can remove it and clean it. And you can custom fit the parts to fit your size of the head. The cheek pads, the headband, and the other parts of that shell. And I wanted to show you that memory design again with the peak. So if we're down here, we're cruising along. Maybe we like our visor open like this, and maybe our peak. We like our peak here, but we stop again. This is where it's cool. Remember, this is open. Now, if you did this on the E1, everything would go back to the closed mode. You lift this open, you can see the peak moves, and actually the visor is practically closed, but when you put it back down, boom, the visor is open to the amount I want, and peak is back in position. Also related to the visor system is this, which was really my first must-have in any helmet, and Schuberth has pioneered this, while others probably are copycats. I'm not sure who first did it, but the first time I ever saw it was on the Schuberth helmet. You slide this switch down, and you have a built-in sun visor. So sometimes I like to ride with the clear visor, the full face open, this visor down. I'm getting airflow coming in there and through the other areas, and that's good too. So you get that protection from the sun, but you're also getting a little more airflow. Another thing, there's always been a warning, if you read the manuals of these helmets, of modular helmets, or flip-up helmets as some people call them, is when it's up, they tell you don't ever ride with the flip-up up. Well, Schuberth has actually devised a system so that when you're in city streets or when you're going slow speeds, you can actually now ride with it like being an open-faced helmet. There's a little lock right here. When you put that up, now the flip-up won't. So it's not going to drop down like if you hit a bump or a big wind gust comes. And actually, for me, what was always a bit difficult when I did mount I had a chin mount of a GoPro camera. So when I'm vlogging, I can give that point of view. But when that GoPro camera is attached to this module piece, the flip-up, it's heavy. And what would always happen is it would just fall down. So if even I'm trying to get a drink of water, I'd have to kind of crane my neck back so to keep that helmet from falling down due to the extra weight of that camera. Well, now I won't have to do that. I just can click this lock. It's going to stay up there. And as I said, if you want to ride with this open in city streets at slow speeds, you're now able to do that. Just use this little locking mechanism and you're good to go. So Schuberth calls that lock the city position. So when you are in that, lift up your visor, go ahead and hit that lock. And for slow speeds, it's perfectly fine. The other thing about the improvements they made is that this visor, this face shield right here. Yeah, obviously you could get tinted ones, mirrored ones, different styles, but it comes already preset with a pin lock, and it also has a very simple process to replace that. So it's not complicated. I do remember on the original C3 Pro, it was a little frustrating to change that. Not necessarily because it was difficult, but you know, everything had to be lined up, and if you didn't have it just right, you just couldn't do it really quick. But now it's very easy to do. If I had an extra visor here, I'd show you how that works. And the other thing about the peak that I forgot to mention is that this peak is removable. That's what these little caps are. So if you take the peak off of here, now what you do, you simply put these little caps in here and you're good. And that's, by the way, how you also would change the face shield. So boom, these just pop in real easy. We're going to take you out on a ride with this thing a little bit and do a little vlogging, show you more about it. Before we get into the comm system, you know, just a couple things that I really love about the helmet is that the ventilation is awesome. They've redesigned it so it fits the shapes of most people's heads a lot easier. It's custom fit design with the removable and replaceable cheek pads, the headband, and all the other elements in there. That extra venting in the inner shell, a huge scoop on the back, and of course the memory system for the visor, which I am going to test right now. It should do that well. So let's say we're not using the peak. I've got these plugged in. We go up like this. You can see the visor's now all the way in the very top position. Now when I come back down, it comes down and it sits there. That is cool. We'll take that sun visor back up. And that's my new E2 Adventure Helmet. Let's get into this comm system because this is what makes it. If you've ever had to install speakers, microphone in your helmet, you know, again, doable, easy to a degree, but time consuming and sometimes a little frustrating until you get the wires hidden and everything here. Well, everything is already built into this. As I said, it's got 3 antennas It's got the wiring already for the control. There's a battery, and of course, the microphone. So let's get into it. This is the SC2 Schuberth communication system. They arranged this in partner with Sena. So it's compatible for those of your fellow riders who do use Sena communication devices and use that mesh network, that mesh system. It's 100% compatible with anybody with the Sena. Now, when you open this up, Schuberth with nice packaging, really clean design. You also get a quick start guide with the communication system. Essentially, there are 3 parts that you need to be concerned about. The first is the battery. The second is the control. So, you know, control your control volume, control features, settings, and selections. And then, last but not least, is the microphone. As I mentioned earlier, for anybody who's ever installed a comm system in a helmet that hasn't been pre-fitted, like the Schuberth E2 Adventure Helmet, you're in for a treat on how this thing comes together. So first, the battery charges using a USB-C cable, which they provide you with, just in case you don't have one. And that attaches to the back. Okay, so we're going to put the battery in, and then on the side, the little control system, basically you flip up the door here and then just slide it off. It comes right off. So putting this on, it just snaps in just like that. How cool is that? Okay, next let's go ahead and install the microphone. Okay, to do that, you need to get into the helmet. Best access here is go ahead and lift the chin bar up, and we have a little pad here that you pull out, a little plug. Once you've got that chin strap up, you want to kind of, it kind of goes in at a slight angle and then fits into the 1/8 inch jack there. And now you have your microphone installed, and they give you 2 windscreens. That's so good because, you know, I remember having a hard time with one of mine from Sena, and it kind of started falling apart, and I wish I had a spare. Thank you, Schuberth, for giving me a spare. Okay, let's get on. Now we've got the control system, the microphone. Last but not least, let's get the battery installed, which is right here. Now, they tell you to use the cover from the control system to kind of get underneath. Clever, right? Okay, so now as we've taken off the door for the battery cover, it's about connecting these leads inside the helmet. And to get to them, we got to get up here, pull down, and out. Okay, so you can use this little tool again as a little aid. There are little rubber covers over the leads. Once you've removed them, this is where it's nice to have little hands, is now you just need to connect these leads accordingly. Okay, now that they're tucked in there, or connected, now we have to tuck this back in there. You can kind of see that. And then fit that in and snap. Boom. Batteries installed. Comm systems installed. And now we're ready to go for a ride. Let's go. Let me show you guys just how this looks before we go. I love the Schuberth straps. Some people, it's love-hate for some people, but this is the solid. There are a couple safety things we could talk about once we get on the road a bit. The microphone's right here. I haven't put the shield on it. I'm ready to go. Oh, I've got my pin lock on there. I need to remove that label. But hey, once again, you know, if I can show you this cool little memory feature, I mean, I'm very excited about the memory feature. You can tell, right? So there we're up. Now, you know, if you do get, I haven't hit this lock button right over here, the city lock, the city position lock. I call it the city lock. So if I go here, all right, now that's locked in, right? It's not coming down. So I release that, come back down, the visor's open. Anyway, super excited about the new E2. We're going to go for a ride.
I think I'm going to go down the coast. We'll go through downtown Encinitas. Anyway, So I've got this new Schuberth E2 Adventure Helmet. Fantastic helmet. Right now we're testing the fit, how it sounds, how quiet it is. Okay, so the face shield is open and we're recording directly through a microphone, not the Schuberth microphone that comes with that SC2 system. Nice to be on the bike. So this Schuberth E2, the adventure helmet here, which has some incredible features as we've talked about. But right now, with the face shield open and I'm just doing, road around town speeds, it feels good, it's comfortable. We will close the face shield here once we get down the road a bit and get some speed and see how quiet it is. Even with the SC2 system fitted here into the helmet, it doesn't feel so heavy. Now I've taken the visor, the peak, off just while I was testing and trying to get the audio working here. So I can't actually test for that buffeting, but it is a 3-position peak that is obviously used for shielding the sun from your eyes. But thanks to Schuberth's great design, we do have the built-in sun visor, which is just operated by a simple switch right back here. Light is green. Let's do this. Crossing over the railroad tracks. A little bit of a whistle, but I'm going to close this thing down. We're going over a little bump. Woo! Okay, now I always wear custom molded earplugs. So I am wearing those now, and I've adjusted the volume of the SC2 system so that I can hear it over the earplug. I can obviously use the Siri commands to make phone calls and do things like this. So it's going to be quiet for me no matter what. And I obviously recommend custom earplugs. Now I use these RT2s from Westone Laboratories in Colorado Springs. You have to get impressions made of your ears at an audiologist or a hearing aid kind of place and send them to them. Or actually, most audiologists and hearing aid retailers will sell the Westone product. I love the graphics, the new E2 graphics, and I love the color orange. It's also available in a red. They've got a blue. They have a nice red, white, and blue helmet, kind of their signature graphic. So they've really kind of upped their graphic game here. And as I mentioned before, orange is the WorldRider brand color, if you will, that I've been using for years on my little WorldRider logo. But obviously it's the brand color of KTM. So even though I'm on a blue and gray BMW GS with some red accents, I still chose this color because I think it's cool. I love the fact that it's kind of rough. Let's go down here to the beach. We're headed down to Moonlight State Beach here. It's in Encinitas, California, near my home. Testing the Schuberth E2 Adventure Helmet, fitted with the SC2 communication system, technology provided by Senna. Look at the Bubble Man is here. Let's see if I can go up there a bit. There is a guy who comes down here and entertains the kids by blowing these amazing bubbles. As you can maybe kind of see, we'll kind of go this way. You can kind of see, there we go. Look at all those bubbles. Anyway, I love the graphics of the new Schuberth E2 Adventure Helmet, that it has kind of this distressed look, which is kind of a cool thing. We buy jeans and jackets sometimes with distress cuts and loose threads, etc., etc. So why not on a helmet? And that way, if you do drop it, rub it up against something, scratch it, you're not as bummed out. A brand new helmet. So I've got the visor down. It's kind of hot here. It's probably about 75 degrees. We've got a little bit of humidity, which is unusual here for the coast. We usually are at a little bit lower humidity, but obviously you can't feel that right now. Also testing the fit. Another one of the great things about the Schuberth E2 Adventure Helmet is its custom fit design, which has removable cheek pads, removable headband. Everything's actually removable and washable in this helmet. But what's so cool is if it's not fitting you exactly right, you can go ahead and swap out different components, different pads in there. So, for example, the cheek pads. I've got a little bit of movement. I might, go back to them and say, hey, let's maybe get something a little bit tighter here. But let's kind of review the venting system right here. So I'm going to go ahead and now fully open up that vent. I've got a two position vent in the chin, and my microphone is not interfering with that, but now we may get some more air in. All of a sudden, once I opened up the top vent, it is noticeably cool, and even though I'm only going about 20 miles per hour, I can definitely feel that venting. And they've really improved the ventilation, as I said, with that EBS foam. That's two-stage foam in there. They've included vents in there, and a really big exhaust vent that I call kind of a rear spoiler or a scoop. It's more of a spoiler, because if it's not a scoop, it's on the back. This is the scoop right up here. Really cool. Right now, even standing still, I can just feel the air. So that's a huge improvement over the E1 helmet I used to have. I really couldn't tell, when I had that vent open, to be honest with you. You get a little bit, but this is remarkable. I'm fired up about that. We're in downtown Encinitas. I know this isn't so great of an adventure I'm taking you on, but I just wanted to really give a run with this helmet to see and share with you my impressions. I'm going to go ahead and open up the shield again. Let some more air in here. So now I'm curious about the audio. Are you guys are we getting some wind noise on that microphone? And again, I've got it attached to a cold shoe that is on an adhesive stuck to the lower part of this chin bar. So it's like right under here. Coming up is the Self-Realization Fellowship, which is right next to the entrance of the Swami's parking lot, which is a famous surf break here in Encinitas. Swami, in a nod to Yogananda, who founded this Self-Realization Fellowship back in the early 1900s. I'm getting a little wind. If I change the position of that, a little whistle from the wind. Change the position, I'm not getting that right now. If I go up here, and I lift my head up here, I get it. You can probably hear it. Come down. So if I just go down to one position low, this has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 position face shield, for those of you who are counting such things. And as I said before, the peak, which I've taken off, has 3 positions. So you can adjust it to get the least amount of buffeting as you desire. So this is the first documented test run of my new Schuberth E2 Adventure Helmet. Sans peak right now, just because I wanted to keep it as clean as possible for the test. Of course, I'm going to attach that, test the buffeting, test the sound again with that. Again, some of the features I really love about this is this built-in visor, the sun visor. And as I said before, the venting on the top with the big escape spoiler on the back. Of course, the double venting on the chin. The overall construction, the ease of taking the peak on and off. A little bit of California mid-afternoon traffic here as we're in downtown Solana Beach. I'm going to take this up on the freeway now so we can give a good test on the, again, the noise. And again, I'm fairly religious about ear protection and wearing earplugs. I can say this, I've adjusted the SC2 and the volume level so that I can hear the prompts from the communication system through my earplugs. And I can still hear if there was an ambulance or law enforcement officer, a peacekeeper behind me, I would hear that. The earplugs don't block out 100%, of course. They just take the high frequencies down, the overall sound pressure level comes down, protect your hearing. Not just the sound of the drone of the engine, it is the sound of that wind. Now, it does have this anti-roll system so that the helmet can't roll off your head forward in the event of a crash. There's two straps that are beneath the padding in there that essentially provide resistance so that it won't roll forward. I was thinking today to take a ride out into Ramona and out towards Mount Palomar, which would be fine, except it's heat wave week here in San Diego. I'm hoping that things will cool down in the next day or two, and I'll take that ride out there. Because what I would do is want to do some photography out there, maybe get up the drone, test this helmet a little more, put the peak on it, and really give it a run for the money. This motorcycle has a bit more flobby suspension, if you will, compared to the original motorcycle, the original F650 GS, sitting in a garage waiting for my arrival in Athens, Greece. We're going to get on the 5 freeway. The infamous 5 freeway runs the full length, the state of California into Oregon, all the way up into Washington. Northbound. Alright, I'm up to 70 miles per hour, or about 120 kilometers per hour. Just a hint of wind noise. The venting is fantastic. So for those of you in a lot hotter climates, you'll appreciate the cool venting that the E2 provides. Hey Siri, call Allan Karl. iPhone. But I just wanted to show that the SE2 and the quietness is that I can trigger my Siri and make hands-free calling and control of my phone connected via Bluetooth to the SE2 communication system, going 75 miles per hour. Pretty cool. Now the actual phone volume, I believe, must be set low because I didn't hear any ringing, and normally I would hear my voicemail, I would think, but I don't know. Maybe it just went, yeah, for sure you'd think they would go to voicemail. The one thing about the communication system is that depending on what your volume you're adjusting, it sticks to that volume. So before it was the GPS prompts I was making sure I could hear. But in that little test of the phone, I couldn't hear my own phone ring. Nice to be out on the bike, I do have to say. It's nice that it's really clean. One of the things I did, because I live so close to the beach, is I took this WD-40 special formula for corrosion resistance, and I sprayed it all over the bike, hoping to stop salt air corrosion to the bike. And in doing so, that stuff is very tacky, and it just attracts anything loose, whether that be a spider, a leaf, dirt, dust, little rocks, just stick to it like a fly trap. I'm gonna get off at Encinitas Boulevard. I need to drop a package off at the FedEx. So we're taking care of a little business here while we're out testing the E2 new Schuberth Adventure Helmet. So that concludes our afternoon test of the Schuberth E2 Adventure Helmet and the Schuberth SC2 communication system. More as we continue this adventure.
Hey, while we're at it, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon.